Hey now, and welcome to Book of Stir and a Horsetooth Jackass. And I don't even know what episode we're on because we're not really keeping very good track
Is this
around
like
here.
four,
We're
maybe?
just
I
going.
think.
It's four. It's four. We're gonna
Yeah,
call this
around there.
four.
Four-ish. Yeah.
Episode four. Today, as always, I've got Paul and Natasha hanging out with me, and I'm your host, one of your hosts, Tony, and we're gonna be talking about whether or not Howard exploits the Wack Packers and the regulars who call in, whether or
Mhm.
not they exploit him, or whether or not everybody's getting exploited by everybody and
Yeah.
somebody's getting something out of it. So,
Are we
that's
are we
just.
exploiting the show with our podcast here?
I
Come
don't know. Maybe. No, because we're not making any money, so I don't think so.
on.
I mean,
Yeah.
unless we're doing it just for the attention, then sure, why not? Yeah, maybe a little
Okay.
bit.
I guess that works.
That works for me. I don't think he'd mind that. I don't think anybody would
Yeah.
mind that.
Well,
So
he
yeah,
hates podcasts, so he wouldn't
I
give a crap
know,
anyway.
dude. The show itself is practically a podcast at this point that you pay a lot of
Well,
money to use.
nowadays, yeah, like
Yeah,
he's at home.
he's
Robin's at home. It's like,
that's the whole other. That is its own entire topic. I mean, we could talk about it, but the show has basically become a podcast. Everybody's at home. Everybody who he as a guest he has is doing this
yeah.
remotely. So, I don't see how it's any different. It's a podcast with a lot of good video attached, but it's still a podcast. So, yep.
Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, back to the topic at hand. What we were saying about whether or not he. I mean, if we're just going off the top, but I feel like there's times that he is exploitive of people, and I think if you go way back with it, like
I
way
would
back,
say if you go back to the early years,
uh
then that's very apparent.
right?
But
Well, like how early? How early would you say?
I'm talking about like the 80s and the early 90s.
Okay.
You
Like
know,
just people like Jackie. Like who are you talking about?
like just I would say like the whole like the whole crew. I mean, even Robin.
Mhm.
Like everybody was in on it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's true.
And
I mean, if what I take your meaning is like they were they were doing more than they were getting paid for, and he was really like amping things up. Like Robin was just there to do the news, and to sit in and not really comment on anything and not really have any major interaction with them. But he got her involved, whether or not she wanted to be at first, because he kind of coaxed her into it. She didn't. I don't think she was
Yeah.
necessarily comfortable breaking from just doing the news
when
stuff.
was.
And it was the same with Fred, I guess. But Fred wanted to be there for something, he just didn't know what. So I don't know that he exploited Fred, but I'd say maybe that's true with Robin, and definitely true of
Yeah, I guess
herself.
at first it was with Robin because, like you said, she wasn't there for that. It was just for the news, and like kind of like the Private Part movie explains how he's just like, yeah, or he started asking her questions, and that's like wasn't part of the norm back then. The news person read the news and that was it. And so when he started asking her for her opinion, that's what kind of it changed the dynamic of the show, and I guess that's one of the things that Howard just likes, or his set in motion that whole I'm gonna use you for my show, and he obviously clicked with Robin, and obviously that was like the foundation of the show that started. So yeah, I guess that was his first victim, so to speak, of exploiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way I want to look at it, and what I'm again, is that what you were trying to say, Natasha? Is that what you take? What I take
I
your
mean,
meaning?
if we're going way back,
Yeah.
and then from then on it became all the guests that would come on, and
I mean, like, yeah, listening to old shows, it was you had callers, but there was no like real recognizable people back then. Listening to old shows, there was the random people that would call in, but there was no real consistency, I guess, with like people like that. It wasn't until like he really, I think, maybe got to like K Rock. Like, does that one like the Wack Pack started? Was around there?
Yeah, I would say so.
Or
It
was it,
was,
or was it even Embassy? I'm not sure.
well, the thing is, I didn't listen too much in the '80s because he wasn't out here yet. So I've heard, like
right.
Natasha and I both have listened to old shows from back then. I'm sorry, go on.
like the 90s.
I'm sorry. Say that again because I was talking over you. My bad.
Oh, I think I was talking over you. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
it's okay. Go ahead.
I said that we didn't get the West Coast feed until like the 90s.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it was like 92 or something. Because I saw his TV show out here before I heard his radio show out here when I was a kid. And that was,
The Channel 9 show.
yeah, and that was 1990 or 91. I don't remember exactly. And then I'm pretty sure it's 91. And then sometime in late 92 or early 93, I was listening to him on the air and I got his book. And I was reading his book. So, yeah, it's like, but yeah, so definitely there was Wack Packers then. There was an early Wack Pack. Again, like that was featuring like original Bigfoot and Elephant Boy and Fred. He's like one of the oldest.
Yeah.
Does Underdog Lady count? Yeah, I think she counts. And so
Underdog
Lady.
Yeah, she was on the Channel 9 show. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Sure. Oh man, yeah, she was great. So I know we were just listening to Underdog Lady stuff, and now you want to talk about people who feel exploited. I guarantee you she does. I guarantee you if you go look at Stuttering John's Twitter, he does. There's a lot of people who feel, well, in Stuttering John's case, see, again, in Robin's case, it's not so much is he ripping them off or something. It's more like, he's getting something out of her that she doesn't necessarily know she's there for, and now she's an established person with this, and she's in deep in it, and whatever. But in Stuttering John's case, he always felt like more of an outsider, and like he was being exploited because he was not getting paid shit and doing a lot, and getting a lot of attention for the show, whether or not they were attaching him so much to it as they were Howard's name when he'd be out there harassing people on the red carpet and such, But, again, I think it depends on who you ask. Now, if you're talking about Wack Packers, too, again, if you're talking about, like, Suzanne Muldowney, yeah, she's going to say that, she's been exploited. Yeah, I would even wager to say Richard Simmons could say that, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, I think that's a give or take relationship. I see a lot of people in the comment section, who think that they were really cruel towards him. And I'm not saying that, they didn't crack some kind of mean jokes here and there, but I feel like they had a more balanced I mean, if you watch all the way back from the Channel 9 days to like his last appearance, I don't know, it becomes more evident to me that it was a very they were both I mean, I don't want to say like using each other, but I mean, it seemed very apparent that they knew what they were doing,
Yep.
He got to plug his fitness stuff, and and honestly, in the beginning, he was a really good sport about everything. He laughed at the jokes and everything. So yeah.
What makes you think too, like, his audience probably weren't Howard fans.
No.
I'm sure he had very conservative, people that were watching his workout tapes, and he probably wasn't. But I think Richard was just very much a people person at that point, and he just, he liked going on just to talk, and because I think of his upbringing, because Howard always brought up how he was an obese child, and like he had to change things in his life, and God, when he would make like Richard cry in the studio, it's like, fuck. I don't know, it's good listening, but it's also kind of sad, but yeah, and then obviously what's happening now, how like he's all like under house arrest or whatever the fuck's going on. So yeah, I mean that's
recluse for some reason.
Yeah, like I don't know. I love the rumors how like his housekeeper is keeping him hostage or whatever the hell's going on. So it's just that whole
We'll come back.
But yeah, and then there was a fun story too of like when Richard went to like Howard's party, and he like threw like cucumbers in the pool. He was just acting fucking nuts.
Yeah, so he wasn't allowed back at his house again.
Yeah, he got banned, I think, after that. So yeah, that's just another example of I don't know. I guess Howard being nice and obviously liking.
He was always on, and like I just felt like he. I mean, the thing is, as much as he would make these dramatic exits and everything, same thing with Underdog Lady, or Underdog as she prefers to be called, like, they still kept coming back. Yeah. I mean, so I feel like these are people who do crave attention, they crave the spotlight. So as much as they like to act like, oh, he's so detrimental, I mean, they love attention.
Mhm.
You know, I think they have very big egos, and you know, and I don't even mean that in a negative way. I just think they love the spotlight, and Howard's there to provide it, and they take advantage of it.
So you
So I
think like in at least Susan's case, it's her morals obviously keep her like at a distance with Howard, but like I said, she likes the attention, so it's always going to be a draw to her.
I
You
mean,
know,
come on, the woman loves to always be in these parades.
Mhm.
I mean, again, this is not. I don't see that as a
Competing with
woman.
children.
Mhm.
I'm just saying, I don't see that as a woman who is introverted as she claims to be.
Mm.
I mean, because
Yeah.
if that were the case, why would you want to be at the center of attention in a parade? You
Mhm.
know, multiple parades at that.
Yeah.
You know, so I just, you know, I mean, Richard Simmons, come on, you know, he's a huge people person.
Yeah.
So
And I
again,
think with both of them that they put it on a little bit, you know, like I think she lays it on a little heavy sometimes. And I think, you know, when she knows that she's getting attention, whether it's negative or positive feedback
You can do it.
for her antics, you know,
Uh-huh.
she'll lean a little more into it and get a little more dramatic. And that's
Yeah, I mean, because
definitely true of Richard. I didn't mean to cut you off, though,
no.
Natasha. You were saying something?
oh, no, I'm just saying when you listen to, like, when you listen to her, like, when she had her little relationship with Mr. Shuley,
Oh.
you know, like, you're hearing a side of her that's not the Susan who, you know, would, like, berate Howard for being, you know, an air polluter and, you know, like, all of a sudden, you know, she's cozying up to somebody who was at the time very much part of the Stern like show staff and you know was cracking jokes
Yeah.
also at her expense, but for whatever reason she kind of felt some kind of relationship with him and
You think
you
she was
know
attracted to him or something? Maybe. I
yes.
think so, yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, you look at her, you know, life, and it's like, who really is paying attention to her? Because it honestly seems like a sad life. Because it's like, you know, as far as we know, I think she works as from what we've heard. Um, and all she does is these parades. You know, I think she lives alone. I don't know if I doubt she's ever been married, not that we know of, or even as far as we know, has gone out with anyone because she's like highly religious, you know, and it seems like a really lonely life, and it's kind of sad, you know, and this is like kind of all she has is like this underdog persona, and you know the Dracula shit and whatever else she does, Vlad the Impaler, so yeah, I mean
Get
this
her
is
mermaid parades.
that too, yeah. So yeah, this is her life, and it's the most. If she didn't have Howard, she would have zero attention, you know. So this is really, yeah, like this is kind of like her lifeline into like you know anything social, and you know,
I feel like some of these people like because people get really this is like a very heated topic amongst fans and I feel like everybody I don't know I feel like again they both get something out of it, you know?
yeah,
Because I mean, come on. I mean, any person who's ever tried to call into the Howard Stern show, like, they know how difficult it is to make it past the screening. And it's like, these Wack Packers, they have an automatic in,
yeah,
you know? So it's like, they clearly are craving the attention. It was like the same thing with Eric, the actor. Like,
Yeah.
he would
Yeah.
he'd call every single day, you know, like
yeah, and get pissed if he didn't come on.
I mean, so it's like they want the attention. Same thing with Wendy. She could wait for hours on hold.
To ask for money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, clearly, like
Because she's eating out of
they're-
dumpsters, you know.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm sorry,
Well,
clearly what?
yeah. Well, I mean, you brought that up, Wendy. That's another one that
Oh, God.
you know would even like. I remember at some point she was like, "Oh, can I say this guy's name or give him a shout out because he's gonna give me like $200 just for mentioning his name on a show." So that's obviously she you know she's a slow adult, but she knows enough to you know she's able to exploit the show to for her gain. So
There was
and you
another
should.
thing I was gonna mention.
Oh yeah, go on.
A lot of the Wack Packers, they don't just call Howard.
Yeah.
And like they've come to find out, like,
Oh,
throughout the
like you're
history
saying
of
they
the
call
show.
other shows, like other radio shows. Is that
Yeah,
what
I
you
think
mean?
Like
Wendy
other
did that.
people on
I think
Sirius, they
yeah.
would call like Bubba the Love Sponge.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
They would
Eric,
call like those
High
like,
Pitch Eric would do that. Yeah.
yeah, they would call like but Wendy would do that too. Like
Yeah,
she
Wendy
would,
was. I think a lot of stations around her area. She was always
that's what I'm saying.
a
She
regular.
called all the
Yeah.
local like
Mhm.
stations. She would call like some of the when they had these short-lived um like channels where they'd have porn stars like for a while. Eric
Uh,
used to call those too. So
You
like
wouldn't know about that.
I'm just saying
oh,
they wouldn't just stop at Howard is my point.
yeah.
If it wasn't Howard taking their calls, then they would be like,
Yeah. Any other sucker?
In
that
other
would take
words,
one.
you're saying they crave this attention. In other words, so they'd be getting it somewhere if it
Or
Or
wasn't.
like, yeah,
from there.
just throw rocks until something sticks,
Mhm.
like what Howard did.
That's what I'm trying to say. If
Yeah.
it wasn't Howard giving them attention, they would be, like bombarding other radio stations trying to get
Yeah.
this attention.
It
And like
makes
Wendy
sense.
did with her like little her like I don't know her like sexy voice, so to speak. Like when she first called, and like she would put on that yeah, like that front that like like talk to me, and yeah, it's just what she was doing that with many other shows. Like I said, I think High Pitch Eric also did that. So yeah, it's just obviously Howard's the biggest one that stuck, and they ran with that. But yeah, no, there was a few instances like that.
I mean, even now, the majority of them are on Cameo.
My God, yeah.
So, I mean,
Well, I mean that was another big one that was High Pitch Eric, because High Pitch Eric is making crazy bank with Cameo, like
Yeah.
enough that he's able to buy cars cash. He's paying all these car accidents he's going into cash. Just he's making crazy money. And yeah, just all because of the show, and he wouldn't have that without the show. And he's been with it so long, and yeah, people are suckers, and they're gonna pay fucking $75 for him to wish you a shitty happy birthday, whatever it is. It just sounds really bad, like not worth that kind of
I
money.
don't
It's
know.
nuts.
I mean, because if you do the Cameo with Brent and
Oh
Jesus.
God, no.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and they had previews, so I had to
Oh.
look, and
Uh-huh.
and it was like Caitlyn doing what she calls the Caitlyn shuffle, which is her version of twerking.
Jesus Christ.
It's
Not
just-
pretty, man.
It's I would love to send that to somebody as if like
Oh,
just to fuck
awful.
with somebody. Just be like, happy anniversary, and just have her fucking shake her tits and her ass
Oh,
and
yeah.
somebody like that. Like it's just,
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because there is, these people that have left the show that are trying to exploit, them being on Howard to continue their career, like Brent. I don't know what he was expecting when he left. If he was expecting these droves of people to follow him on his whatever he does, I don't even know.
he has
and
a
Twitter and
brain
Instagram.
drive.
But it's like
OnlyFans,
people,
I
are
think,
people
right?
paying the shit, to watch. It's like I don't.
Fans Cameo.
Yeah, no, I don't care about Brent outside of the show, honestly.
I don't think anybody
So
should.
yeah, I don't think anyone does. So it's like, was this really a smart career move to like leave this crazy popular show to try and do your own thing? And it's like I really don't feel like that's working out for him at all.
Nope.
All you got is people ragging on him, and his wife.
They know where their bread and butter is.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And then same for Shuli. Because Shuli, he took off. He moved to fucking Alabama, wherever he went, and same thing. He did, started I think a Patreon, and he's on Twitch, and it's just like I don't care to hear him outside of the show. I'm sure he was great on the show, but after, I think he's even doing something with Underdog Lady on his thing. So it's like obviously he's trying to pull from what he can. And it's like, no, I don't. If you're not on Howard, I ain't gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
It's really, yeah. I'm not invested enough into these personalities to follow them outside of the show.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I like Shuli, and I think he's a funny dude. But like,
Yeah.
even I mean, you could even say to a degree, and I bet even Artie would say this. I don't know for sure, but I bet he would. That like if you remember when he was trying to be a stand-up comedian for a while, Shuli, he was
Yeah.
going on the road, and that was when Artie made those pack cracks at the him and the other guys, saying that were a bunch of hacks and they weren't very funny, and they took it pretty personally. I think Richard and Sal took it the worst, but Shuli. I've seen some of his stand up. It's not horrible, but I don't know that that's the dude's strong suit. Like maybe writing's better for him. I don't know what, but again, once he gravitates away from Stern, it's like it's not really working for him as well. So yeah,
Like what does he have?
and the fact that
You
he
know,
was trying to do that too shows you that again that he was trying to use pretty much anybody in the proximity of the show to get whatever he could as far as the attention. So it's more of a symbiotic, I think, relationship between him and Stern and him and anybody else that he's working with in that regard. Like him and a lot of the people, I'd say that's true. The only people, what I was going to say is, and maybe we could use this to shift into this, but like, here's what I'm going to say is somebody who's cognitive and smart, like Richard Simmons, or even someone like Underdog Lady, who does have some understanding of, she can work. Even I was gonna say is even Gary, the retard, is like high functioning, and he works a job. And
the Conqueror,
yeah, I'm sorry, Gary the Conqueror, and Wendy the Slow Adult are pretty high functioning as things go. And they're keyed in enough to understand. Yeah, Boogerville. Yeah. Delicious. It makes me hungry every time I know that. But but they're high. So, but somebody that I think who maybe isn't as high functioning, and may not have as good of an understanding is someone like the new Bigfoot. Like he seems pretty disturbed, and he's gotten in a lot of legal trouble. And I think
someone I might make the argument for
that he's being exploited, right?
Yes.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's to me where it gets a little gray, because I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't know that this guy's mentally sound enough to really understand what's happening.
Because even like Jerry the Conqueror,
Mm-hmm.
even he seems, I don't know. He's always seemed high functioning enough to understand what was going on. But somebody like Bigfoot seems so mentally ill that I could, if somebody wanted to make an argument that is exploitation, then I couldn't find much to dispute that.
That's what I'm saying. I'd be hard pressed to say no, because it feels a little bit like, I mean, if you don't know him and you're just watching this stuff on the surface, it's funny, and maybe you don't think so, because it's like, yeah, how are they exploiting this big, intimidating guy who clearly wanted to be there, but again, he's there because somebody thought he was weird enough and said, hey, why don't you go do this? And he's the kind of guy who's not going to say no. And he's...
I remember in the contest, like, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good, go.
When they held the contest, he was the one who was the least self-aware, which is why they ultimately chose him to be a Wack Packer, because the other two were way too self-aware.
And it was less funny for that reason.
Exactly. He didn't know why he was funny.
See, so we're laughing at you, not really with you that much.
Well, I mean, do you feel like Bigfoot was... he had some good bits, but they kind of really... What did they use him with? What did they use him for the show after, that contest? Like some prank phone calls, just some updates, or the embedded, which were all great. But
did you hear when he went in studio with that band, and that band was really, that group that they were trying to release an album, they were really awful. Those bits are funny.
Yeah, no, just like I said, it's just there's a few bits here and there, but it's like, I don't know, like with Bigfoot, there's nothing like real, like, I don't know, fruitful when it came to him. There's no real like classic bits, so to speak.
I think
because
Oh no, go on.
Just the way he is, but just like just because the way he was, like the embedded was fun that he did with the Wolfie, and just
I love the embedded series.
Yeah, that was good.
More horrifying.
Yeah, it was. Oh god, and the squatters and everything. It was definitely fascinating, but it was just more like, I don't know, like they couldn't really. What can you really get out of the guy?
They could barely drag Because when they're that far off, it's very difficult for Richard and Sal to feed them
Mhm.
lines because they're just so
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
they
like a
can't.
beat.
Yeah, they're not good at
I ain't gay.
following. You know.
Yeah.
But okay, so the other thing about it is, I mean, like, okay, I'm amused by a lot of his stories, like when he's gone to jail, the fact that he doesn't give a shit about engaging in like,
No man sex.
like yeah, well, like either jail sex or like hooking up with that trans chick, like he was. That's the other thing he's got.
Oh
When you start
yeah.
to think about
Danielle.
it, yeah, Danielle,
Yeah.
the trans girl, and then like you start to think like, wow, like he does have a lot going on, but the thing is, it seems like the only time that it gets really interesting with him is when it's a story about something really fucking awful. Like, okay, he went to jail because he did something bad, and then he did something else. Like, and that's the other thing. Like he does. He's one of those people who does too many things that border on criminality for you to be like, okay, this can't. Maybe
Yeah.
this is gonna get towards not funny. Because what if one of these days, he's hanging out at parks and stuff and just hitting up whoever. What if it's an underage person? Huh? Go on.
Yeah.
What did you say, Natasha?
Oh, and I said, and he seems like he's capable of hurting somebody.
Well, yeah, he fucking
Yeah.
he tried to fight the cops and he pulled his sword out and was trying
Oh
to
my god.
attack them. So
The
yeah,
door. Yeah.
and then
And
he
the
committed arson. Like he burnt down his entire apartment building. So
And the closest
Yeah.
thing he had to a relationship, he kind of
allegedly, let me say that just in case. But go on. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, to my knowledge, he scared the woman's daughter,
Yeah.
and just from being kind of psychotic.
Right. All this common knowledge shit that everybody knows, and you can go look it up about the guy. He's not mentally fit. And I think that's why these days, if you notice, they don't really gravitate towards him anymore. And I think it's because
Yeah.
they know that it's not a good look, especially in this, climate, politically. So,
Plus, I mean, maybe for his well being too. It's like
right.
they can't keep feeding into that. And maybe it was making it worse for him. You don't really.
As much as
Yeah,
I find
yeah.
the bits funny, because I do, I do
Yeah.
think maybe it's the right thing to do to distance themselves from him. Because the other thing is,
Yeah.
you're incentivizing his bad behavior by saying your reward for those things is that we're going to give you more of this attention, which is also
Yeah,
going to
that's-
get you money and drugs and shit that you like.
It's not much different than Artie.
Yeah, exactly. And then again,
After,
oh god, you want to talk
his,
about someone who could have been exploited as part of the show?
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
okay, now with him, I go back and forth.
Yeah, same. Because again, he was, he knows what he's doing. He's a big boy and he likes drugs, and he knows that being part of this is getting him that, and he's going to go do it.
Even before,
I'm sorry.
he came on the show. He was like that,
Mhm.
and being on Howard, I think, really elevated his career, and he was getting crazy money for doing these stand-up shows, and obviously it shows where he chose to put that cash, and he made some really bad, investments. He was always letting people borrow money, and he did seem very generous, and really nice about it, but it was maybe just to a fault.
Yeah.
It really was sad, the path he went on.
But I mean, whenever he would talk about like whenever he'd have those fights, those really epic fights on the show, he would always say something along the lines of well, this is what you wanted, right? You pushed my buttons, and then you knew it would make good radio, so you kept pushing and pushing, and now you got what you wanted. I started getting mad and throwing shit, and so that's why I go back and forth on whether or not because when he would get upset, it didn't feel like it was a bit for him.
Yeah.
It felt like he was really in that moment and he was pissed, and he felt like Howard was pushing in those buttons, or the rest of the staff was encouraging him because they knew that they could get him to that point and that it would make good radio, and it did. I am not gonna lie, I still revisit those clips all the time because they are entertaining as hell, but
Yeah.
I don't know, obviously at what price to his mental health,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot when Paul and I did, just when you weren't around for that episode where we were just talking about Artie. So sorry about that, but yeah, we did touch on that a lot. So you're right on with that. and we agree. I think we all can agree on that then. So I'd say that
Totally.
with Artie, that I feel like, yeah, to a degree he was exploited, but also, the other thing though is, and this is, again, I'm not throwing shade at Artie at all, because this is coming from somebody who has a really bad addictive tendencies and shit, and has had my problems with this, but and I do a lot of these similar behaviors, but Artie, I think, sometimes does all of those things that are nice for people ahead of time, so that he then has a buffer for when he knows he'll eventually fuck up or fuck them over a little bit, so that maybe then they'll be more forgiving of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's such a nice guy, I'm not going to get mad at him because, like, he loaned me money and didn't even bug me about paying him back, so he's chill. I'm not going to give him a hard time because he blah blah blah, or he was really acting stupid and was embarrassing. I'll let it slide.
He was high. Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. So I'll look the other way when he shows up high because he's such a nice dude. So again, some of those things are him being manipulative. So it does make it hard to say that, only fucking Stern exploited him, when someone like that, by their very nature, whether they're going to admit it or not, is a very manipulative person. So, that's a sticky situation, but ultimately, you can say that Howard not being high is in his right mind, and anybody working there also, as long as they're not an addict, is not, they're in their right mind. They should not be as easily forgiven for being exploitive as somebody who clearly isn't, and is in constant seek of more of their drug of choice. So, it's hard for him to see clearly, and Artie's going to be manipulative by nature for that reason. So, yeah, I hold him accountable as I do any other addict, because he, especially at this age, understands himself enough to know his faults. But and even then, yeah, I mean, was he like in his 30s at that point? You're still full enough. So.
Do you still feel he's doing it now with this new venture going on with the Patreon, new show?
Hard to say at this point.
You actually watched that podcast, right?
Yeah, I watched his. That was the other thing. I did watch the Saget thing. So I don't know if either of you guys have caught it yet, but I did watch the Saget interview, and he just did Lisa Lampanelli. But I've only seen clips of that because that's on his Patreon, and I haven't subscribed yet. We were talking about that, but I'm curious to subscribe for these things, for these reasons, or join his Patreon or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know yet if he's. I want to watch more of him and see what's going on. I'll tell you this: it seemed like Bob Saget was drunk off his ass when he was doing it, but that was great. I don't know if he was or he wasn't, or if he claims to be clean or sober or not. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's I guess another thing that I'm like kind of like I do want to subscribe, just because I do like Artie, and his situation was unfortunate. Like I don't really feel he left Howard on bad terms. It was just more Howard. I think felt like if you continue on the show, you're just gonna keep doing it, what you're doing, and with the drugs and the suicide attempt, and I think Howard just felt it was for his own good.
Oh yeah.
That he couldn't come back, and I don't know if like Artie resented that, or felt like that wasn't fair, and so it just. And so, like, I'm just kind of wondering, like, should I support him because he might have this mentality? But it's like, if he's trying to be clean, I do want to support it. So it's like, yeah, like I said, it's kind of up in the air. I'll give a little bit, and if he's still going within a couple months, it's like, okay, I'll throw him a few shekels just to check out the Patreon stuff and see how it's going. But it's like I'm kind of weary,
Ultimately, I think no matter what, he's going to keep having problems on and off with this. And as a fan, I just want to support him because I don't really care what's going to happen. I hope he's honest about things. I hope he can just, live his life the best he can. But hey, he's made it this far, so somehow he knows what he's doing. And I'm going to just say that the other thing about it is I find the guy entertaining. So I am willing then to give over my money to him, because I find him entertaining. So because that's the other thing, whether he's clean and sober, whether he's fall down sloppy, fucking wasted on drugs, like I find the guy amusing because he's a funny dude regardless. Like that's the other thing, whether some of those people feel like he's funny or he's funny, no, he's funny. He's just a funny dude. I think he's funny, and I'll pay the money. So that's it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so like I said, I'm curious to give it a try, and just like I said, throw him a couple bucks and see if he hopefully sticks with this, and remains clean and keeps it going. It's like I don't want to throw money just to fucking have him get high. So we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see how that goes. But I mean, I'm trying to think of like other certified like Wack Packers. Like we mentioned Fred earlier. We haven't heard from him in a while. Fred the Alpha Boy.
Yeah. And I don't think he's been exploited too much. I honestly think he's
no, not at all. He's been a great part of the show. Yeah,
and
he's not one
those,
that I told to take advantage.
Mm-hmm. And
like some before.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think he's one of those dudes who like knows where his bread's buttered, and he's not trying to fuck around and shit where he eats. So he's always been pretty like he distances himself from the show at times, and there's times where the show has distanced themselves from him just because they didn't need him per se. But
what about Bobo?
Oh Jesus, he's annoying. He's not very funny. He's
not on purpose, at least.
Yeah, no.
He's funny, not on purpose. I guess you could say.
He's
just because, God, just I don't know. I find Bobo very entertaining, just because they fucking rag on him and his really lame questions.
They make those segments more funny.
Oh yeah, because of Fred and everything.
Just randomly call just to say something, and they're like, "What is your point? Like, did you just want to talk about something?" And like, what the fuck are you talking about, Bobo? Like,
and they always say like, the answers to this question, but he just wants to ask it just because he's able to get on air and do it. And just what annoys me about him is like when people like call him out for it, and his response is like, "Who are you? What have you done? I've been calling in for 30 years." It's like that makes him higher above them because he's bugged and he fucking followed Howard to the hospital or his parents, for his kid's birth, and it's like fuck, it's great, but like I said, I do find him somewhat annoying too in that regard, that he feels like he's on this like pedestal of like Howard callers, but he really is just like an annoying super fan.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people feel that way about like him and Marianne from Brooklyn and people like that, but I'd hardly say they were exploited. I'd say if anything they just
I know Marianne, she very much is a I don't know, I find her okay, like just because she is a super fan, she gets excited every time she calls. You know what I mean? Like I would fucking lose my shit if Howard heard my voice, So I don't know, like I understand her craziness when she gets on, and it's it's great. I guess I can appreciate that she all she needs is Howard in her life.
Really sweet, actually.
She is,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I don't think she doesn't come off to me as mean spirited.
No, not at all.
Like you said, I've actually, I think Superfan actually does describe her better than
absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Her and Bobo are super fans for sure. I mean, Bobo is borderline Wack Packer because of the weird stalker shit he does. But people like I was gonna say people like maybe even Melrose Larry Green in the past, or regular callers like Marfon Mike and stuff. All those people, they're weird and they're funny, but hardly exploited. Some of them are more annoying than others. There are people who outright hate the guy. I think he's funny, and Natasha's had personal interactions on the phone with the guy, or on a show with the guy. What? Yeah, she said some. Yeah, King. Yeah, King.
Tell us about that.
I still have his phone number in my cell phone.
What?
Yeah. We never told you about this stuff, huh? Go ahead, tell him about that.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
He was doing like a sideshow for a while. And he was looking for girls to talk about certain topics, and I emailed him, and I got to be chosen, and but you can't find it on YouTube anymore because it got taken off. But I think he liked my voice, And I mean, because it was me and another girl, but when the host of the show asked, like, who do you want to bring back? Like, he wanted to bring me back. And, but I wasn't available, but, like, he would leave me voicemails like, oh, hey, Natasha, like, this is a chamois. And like, it was just so funny. Like, it was like, or he called himself Shampoo.
Yeah, there's another alias he'd go by when he'd be working with this dude Star, who he does, he was working on these morning shows and stuff with all YouTube stuff, and then That's what she's saying. He had these little side project shows, so he was doing these side project shows, and when he'd do those, he, like she said, he'd get regulars who he'd want to come back. So he was always trying to hit her up to like go back and do the show again for a while. This was like, when was this, like 2016 and 17 when that was going down? Yeah, about
Do
that.
what exactly? Go back to do what?
Just these shows. They were like similar to what we're doing now, I guess, but without visuals.
Kind of podcast topics,
Mm-hmm.
only without like any kind of video, just audio. But I mean, like they would you would give them a picture of yourself, and they'd use your picture.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
yeah, so I still kept his phone number on my cell phone just for the fuck of it.
Is it under King of All Blacks, or is it under Larry the Trash Guy? Like, what do you have saved under?
I just put
Come on.
And actually, I still have his voicemails saved. I never
wow.
erased them.
Oh yeah, that's a keepsake.
Oh shit! Yeah, you gotta keep those, dude. That's great. You gotta play those for you.
Or even play on the show one of these days.
I'm never gonna erase them. I'll play them free. I'll play them one day.
Oh, nice.
And then also like when I was on Twitter, short-lived, he followed me on Twitter.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, that's the closest I've had to having like a celebrity follow me.
Wow, that's cool.
So, yeah, I don't know why Mr. Larry Shampoo KOB King of All Blacks fixated on me, but yeah.
Oh,
there
man.
was a
Wow.
brief period where, yeah.
Huh. Oh, that's cool.
Well, I think he liked any mixed race or Spanish girls. He always said that I like Spanish women because his wife is Puerto Rican. So
it's true. It's because he liked Hispanic girls. Or he
and you told him you were Latina, and he's like, "Oh, I love Spanish girls and shit." He likes that shit.
Yeah, well, on the East Coast, they call everybody who's Hispanic Spanish.
Yeah, it's a good thing you didn't send him any feet pictures or anything, because then he probably would have flipped his fucking lid, dude.
Dirty feet. Dirty panties. Oh god, just the whole like.
He's so weird, dude.
Oh,
so
yeah,
nasty.
him and his panties sniffing.
Like I said, there's a lot of people who, to get back to the main topic, like there's a lot of people who hate the guy, and whether or not I like him. I think he's funny. And
hate is a strong word. Like, I don't hate him, but he does get kind of annoying sometimes. Like, his weird tactics to stay longer on the air. Like, he would repeat a question like 3 times. Why do you? Like, he would just like drag it on, just whatever like milliseconds he can get to stay on the air.
Yeah, which again is a very Bobo tactic. That's
and it's just like, that's the annoys me. And don't hang up. It's just, I don't know. Just sometimes like that. It's like, oh god. Hang up, like I'm with Robin. Like, hang up on him. He's fucking annoying sometimes.
That's kind of the whole reason why I like emailed to do the side project, because like he has so like very offensive opinions when it comes to women that I just wanted the time to like be able to have free range to talk all the shit I wanted.
Plus, we knew in this forum they let you kind of just go in if you want to go in, so she could just say whatever the fuck she wanted and not have to give a shit. So it was a lot of fun in that regard, right? I mean, it seemed like it. Am I right to say it was? I think you had a good time.
Somewhat, because the audience is worse than the people who are Howard Stern fans. They're very hostile, So, I mean, there was a lot of derogatory comments about me being Mexican.
Yeah.
And there was also, people who just thought I looked, I was weird because I dyed my hair.
Wow.
They call me Marilyn Manson. Like,
well, the crowd that we're playing to here is like mostly East Coast hip hop. Like 40s to 50s crowd, so the way that they look at that kind of shit is like
some
wacky West Coast people.
I told Tony like my favorite like insult that anyone ever gave me on the internet was like somebody from their comment section say Natasha looks like a fucked up anime emoji.
Wow, that sounds complimentary to me, but
Yeah, right. I'll take that.
yeah.
I don't know if that's like my favorite insult that I've ever heard on the internet.
Is that really an insult though? Like I don't know what to. Wow.
I just don't know what he meant by that. Like, I look like a fucked up anime emoji.
What are they
Dude,
looking at? Yeah.
their chats felt like, to me, like high school, like classrooms where people were just talking like shit and just insulting everybody. Like, it was a fucking madhouse in those places. But if you were on air, you fucking were gonna get it the worst. Like, they were just gonna go in on you real hard. I was trying to actually do some stuff too behind the scenes on that, but I didn't get into it enough, so I kind of let it go. But yeah, that's dude. They're pretty vicious up in there.
They were kind of a mean, like I said, calling me Marilyn Manson and shit. Because I had blue hair back then.
Yeah, you just gotta take it in stride and say fuck it. These people just like talking shit,
Yeah.
It's internet too, so
that's how I had to figure some of these comments were coming from some people who were, they had to be older. Like, what kind of, I don't know, what kind of young person would call someone Marilyn Manson?
Yeah.
It just sounds
like a dated ass reference.
Yeah, really.
Like, you got blue hair, you look like Marilyn Manson. Like,
that means
that's
that.
something I would have heard in
Like
like
what?
junior high or high school,
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but King, so he's, like I said, I don't know, and he's somebody who I think does get a lot out of the show. Although the guy doesn't really need all that much. He's got it okay. He's got his, his trash man job and his dad's money, and he's got a house, and his wife makes money too working. So right, so.
I don't know. Text him and ask him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think so. I have to ask him, but I'm pretty sure she does. I think he said she does something for a living. I fucking don't remember. But because it's been a minute. But yeah, dude, like, whatever. He's got it.
Well, I'm trying to think of like who else. As far as I know,
a story about him is I was just listening today, and it was something from earlier this week, I think. But they were playing. We heard it on the way back in the car. Natasha, remember he called in and he was like having them play his daughter's music. Like, she has a CD. So again, he's trying to use a show in a way still.
Every way you can.
Yeah, to get her career boosted, because she can get attention that way, and it was a good way to do it.
Fired him as producer.
Yeah.
So like, or a manager, I mean.
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah.
His whole call was to appeal to somebody out there, like, Howard plays the music.
Who was a legit manager, in the music industry, to take over the role, because he's not good at it. He slipped up and said something bad that she said about him, like, you're too fucked up to do it right or something. And he's like, then he backtracked it and said it like less in a terrible way, but it was pretty funny.
And it was funny too, because Howard was kind of grilling him, because like he was like, play her music. So Howard plays her music, and then like
he starts crying.
No, he starts talking over it.
Oh yeah, that part.
And Howard's like, you're so narcissistic, you can't even let your daughter have a little bit of attention.
Like, yeah, you have to make this your moment and take her shine away for, when you're calling in supposedly to help her boost her career. So he ran into on him, dude. Yeah, but it was funny, But I think they all know what it is, because, back in the day, Howard would have been like, oh, come on, I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to do this. This is awful. Yeah. But he was actually giving it a fair shot, and like I said, he's a little different these days. He doesn't go in as hard as he used to. But yeah,
I would say like Bobo and King are kind of like
flip sides of a coin. Yeah.
Yeah, they're basically I think they're the callers who drive people the most nuts.
Yeah, people just outright hate them. I always thought, like, if we're talking about boring, I'd rather, like, not hear Jeff the Drunk. It's like, I could do without that.
Bore.
Yeah. I mean, he's fun to make fun of. But
like, anything recently, just like, like, what is, he's, all he does is get high now, and it's kind of another one that was exploiting the show, because at one point he was getting, like, like Xboxes and TVs and just a bunch of shit sent to him. and it was like, well, what did he do to deserve this? Just
I think he
besides
does cameos and shit too now. But besides
yeah,
what?
and yeah, well, he had. I remember a few years ago, he did a show like his fucking like cooking show in Gardena. You remember
No
that?
shit.
Yeah, yeah. He came. Someone flew him down here
Wow.
to do like a one armed man, like cooking show at some like a Legion Hall, like
Wow.
in Gardena, California, and that was like a yeah. I don't think it obviously didn't go anywhere. I think he
Yeah.
did it and flew back, but it was yeah. Just he's another one that obviously took advantage and was able to kind of reap the rewards of being like a a regular caller on the show and
Okay, but Paul just reminded me because maybe because we're talking about addicts, but like someone who I did feel towards the end, obviously felt exploited was Crackhead Bob.
oh
Because
oh
initially he
Yeah.
seemed to be, like he seemed self-aware. He seemed like he understood, like he was like laughing with them, and then towards the end, it seemed like when he didn't want to be part of the show anymore, that he caught on that everyone was laughing at him and not with him, and he didn't like it anymore.
I'd say you bring
yeah
up a really good point. That's actually excellent because as his brain damage lessened because he was starting to recover, he became less and less enthusiastic about working with the show,
Yeah,
and
because he
got the
got
gag.
frustrated of like everybody laughing at him,
Yeah.
and then he didn't like that. He couldn't even open his mouth without and say something serious or just make a plain statement about enjoying a sports team or something
yeah
without
Jets
everybody just laughing at the way he
hmm
pronounced things.
yeah. Yeah, and
So,
I think he was when he moved because he moved to like Texas. I think a
hmm
few years before he passed away. Yeah, I think he like even like him and his family are like, yeah, we're moving, and he's really not going to be a part of the show anymore. Like they made that decision, and I'm guessing he went along with it. I don't
Hmm.
know how much choice he had, but yeah, he just kind of gave up, and it was like right off to the sunset. Happy trails, whatever it was that song he's saying at the end. Happy trails. I forget what it was. Yeah. But yeah, that's just that kind of I don't know. It was messed up. We had a lot of fun times with Bob. I think what was his real name George. I think he just couldn't say
Yeah,
George
he could say.
anymore.
I don't even remember what it
Yeah,
was anymore. Yeah.
something like that. But yeah,
Yeah, but so they just said Bob was easier, so they just
because yeah,
call
that's
him
all you
that.
could pronounce. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, there's so many great memories with Bob, and it was kind of sad towards the end. It was that. We didn't really get like a final send off. Like I'm worried like that's gonna happen with Beat, because Beat I think he's living with his mom over in Georgia,
Mm.
and it's like he's kind of cut off from the show, and they don't want him on there anymore, and we get
what's
like kind of
happening? Is that why we don't hear much from B
yeah, I
anymore?
think like he's living Lester is living with his mom, and yeah, they I think because he has like diabetes, I think I don't know,
Well,
he's kind of
yeah,
he's not doing too well in the health department, and
and
he's I wonder like if he kind of he's outlived what he was. Kind of like Eric the actor, Eric the actor, he lived way beyond what they
his life
said he was going to.
expectancy. Yeah.
Right, and so like is Beetle living on borrowed time too? I don't know. He's he's outlived them all. He's one of the longest reigning Wack Packers. So it's I know I think he still does. I don't think it's him, but he has like his Twitter and his Instagram account that just kind of throws things up every once in a while. But yeah, no, I think the most recent thing we had, whoever was able to go and like have like dinner with him at one point, they talked to him for a minute, and he still seems in good spirits and when it comes to Howard, and but it's just yeah, obviously they can't do much, because he's already an older dude,
Yeah.
and he's obviously in his condition, so
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know, it sucks, but I don't know. Like I really feel like this is Howard's last like 3 years we have coming up when his contract ends. I really don't think he's gonna renew any work. He's gonna be like fucking like 70, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, just we'll have all these memories, and I don't know. I really feel like once he retires, I'm hoping they'll just keep the channels open and just I'm fine with the replays. I like downloading the Stern Troll, the 5 hour, 5.5 hour episodes they put up, and it's just clips. It's just clips and segments, and it's great. Like I could listen to that forever. It's endlessly entertaining. So if that's all we get, then I'm fine with that. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
yeah.
I love this anthology. Like,
Mm.
I don't know. Like, I never get. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
no,
never get
same.
tired of it.
I could listen to them all day. It's
All
great.
day long. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic. But yeah, man, I'm trying to think of like anyone else that like it is blatantly like, trying to exploit the show, and there's really no one besides, like I said, like fucking Brent or Shuli that are just trying to capitalize and trying to make money off of Howard and or fucking Hyperjeric with his cameo.
Mm-hmm.
But then I don't know, like whenever it comes to Howard, his exploitation of people, it's just for the show. It's not for himself. He just wants to make a good show, so it's kind of hard to make him seem like a bad person for talking to these people and getting stuff from them.
No.
He
Yeah.
just wants a good show, and it's entertaining, and that's all I want.
Mm-hmm.
Just a good show. And so yeah, it's hard to say like he's doing this just because I mean, how much ratings are these people really pulling in? It's great for when they're on, but they're not like I don't know, they're not breaking in the big bucks when it comes to like advertisers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just oof, I'm winded, guys. There's a lot of talking,
Yep.
a lot of gabbing.
That's right. What about you, Natasha? What do you feel ultimately like? Any other people that that we didn't touch on, maybe, or that you feel like? Are there any other things that maybe we missed that you want us to mention?
No, I mean, I covered like the people that I wanted to speak on, which was, Artie and Crackhead Bob and like Richard Simmons, because these are a lot of the I noticed when it comes to fan comments, these are the people that people feel very sensitive towards.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't know. I've gone back and watched all their first appearances all the way to their last. And like I said, I've just come up with I don't know where I've just come to the conclusion where I feel like it was a give or take, like both ways. Like they both got something out of the situation.
Right.
Whereas like somebody, like I said, Crackhead Bob, like towards the end, I did not feel like that was somebody who was happy, because again, he became cognizant of the fact that he was being laughed at. So that felt exploitive. And then when he realized that, that's when he stopped making appearances, and that was it. He knew when to walk away when he felt uncomfortable. And then I've already made my point about Bigfoot just seems mentally damn unstable. So yeah, I mean,
Oh man, yeah. Now, I mean, you would think back to like the people who are no longer with us, like Nicole Bass. It's like they had great laughs on the show, but I don't really feel like Nicole got any more popular or money or anything because of the show.
Right.
Yeah. There's a few that have
Hank.
Hank. I mean, Hank was very much one that was entertaining on his own, and they had him do stuff just because he was funny, because he was always drunk, and he even got into movies. Like God, I remember him in fucking Toxic Avenger 4. I think he played God. I remember that whole scene.
That about Hank.
Yeah, it was great.
I love Hank, and I like the Toxic Avenger. I had no idea.
Yeah, he was in part 4. It was a shitty movie.
It was one of the back end ones that no one will.
Yeah, but it was great to see Hank for sure. Yeah, I think he played God. It was fantastic. Toxie goes up to heaven, and it's fucking Hank, and he sends him back down to Earth. It's great. That I mean, that's like the highlight of the movie, really. But yeah, then we go like to Eric the actor, who and there was a recent. I don't think I've actually heard this one where he was offered a part in a movie that Colin Quinn was writing. It was like a Taxi Driver, some type of parody, where they said like Eric had to shave his head to a mohawk.
Oh yeah,
and Eric's like, I can't do that. He's like, it's a deal breaker because I have another part. And like, I don't remember hearing that one before, so this one was kind of new to me. And then like Fred went nuts.
Yeah,
he was like, you fucking little asshole. Like, we get you this, and you're turning your back on it. And I was like, whoa, this it was good. This is like, I heard that recently. So it's just like, oh man, So just he's another one that obviously was able to exploit the show enough to get fucking parts on these little shows and.
Have you ever watched the YouTube clips of his acting?
Oh god.
Oh yeah,
It's
so great.
Terrible.
It's really bad. Yeah, his in place sight was really bad. It was. Oh yeah, he is not a good actor at all. But God, he was just so fucking entertaining. And then I remember listening and hearing him live. I'm like, this little asshole. He's a little bastard. I don't know. You couldn't help but love, but also hate him. I don't know, in a weird way. But when he died, I was really bummed out, and it's I can still stay. I miss the little bastard, and it's sad he went when he did. But like I said, he was living on borrowed time because he outlived what the doctor said. But goddamn, did he give us fucking golden moments of the show? It's so great. Anytime they replay it, it's I don't know, it's nonstop laughs. It's so good.
I would the Stern Show for making it improvement on his life.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, he got to get laid.
Yeah, Bunny Ranch.
A lot of strip clubs and the Bunny Ranch. He got to be an actor.
All right. Read Diana DeCarmo. He got
Lived his
to
dream. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He got to talk to Kelly Clarkson. Yeah.
He would have never been able. Oh, he got to go to all those wrestling matches.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
So
yeah, didn't he meet a wrestler too that he really wanted to meet? Like
Kurt Angle, yeah.
Was it Kurt Angle?
On the
Yeah,
show.
Yeah, that's right. You mean
even like the whole what was the Sacramento Bees, the fucking 0.0, that whole thing.
Oh Jesus!
Where you had that little meeting with people.
Dude.
It's just like, oh my god, you got a T-shirt. If you spent like $150 or whatever it was, it's just like I don't know. He was selling pictures of him and Artie.
Oh, dude, yeah, that was funny.
I don't know. I feel jealous of those people that actually went. Those 50 people that went. There's so many I don't know, just moments like that where it's like, man, you just never know.
Like people like him and Wendy, I feel like their lives wouldn't have been as entertaining had they not had their relationship with Howard.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, although with Wendy, I'm sure maybe she could just sit around shitting her pants watching Freddy Krueger movies all day.
Shitting her diaper, yeah.
But, and that would be entertaining enough. But, with Howard, she gets to experience more things because he gives her money and she can, buy lots of food and,
Mountain Dew, yeah.
Not have to dumpster dive so much. And
yeah. Buy Christmas presents for her niece or whatever fucking excuse she's using.
Always have a fresh tomato to put up her ass, so she's good to go.
Oh my god. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Come on. She got to freaking have phone sex with Howard Stern.
That's right. It's a privilege.
How many women get to say that,
Mm-hmm. I wish I could say that, but yeah. Sure.
So there you go. That's someone who improves their,
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. To me, it's kind of hard to say Howard's exploiting them. I mean, yeah, he's using them to entertain us. But on the flip side, they're using the show to get money or favors or events or I don't know. It's a little bit more fruitful for the people than it is for Howard. He's getting a good show, but they're getting all kinds of fucking perks. Stuff that we can't. We're not privy to because we're not heavily involved with the show like that.
Yeah, I can even imagine.
It makes the balance a little bit teetering on.
They get to meet their favorite celebrities.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they get fans by there's the super fans of the show that are celebrities. You got the Jonah Hill, the Natalie Maines. It's these people are fans of those people because of Howard, and yeah, it's like I said, it's definitely more fruitful for them than I feel than it is for Howard. Howard's just taking their calls, or setting up silly bits, and so it's definitely a kind of a balance difference when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yep, for sure. I was gonna say there's only a couple people I could think of who I think that I wouldn't apply that to, or maybe just one, definitely right off the top of my head, who I wouldn't say exploits the show in any regard, and it's only because he's really different, and I'm gonna say that that's Sour Shoes. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like he's being exploited because he really likes what he does. Like, he's he's just kind of, that's the way his brain works. He's having a good time. He knows what he's doing. He's comfortable where he's at. So I don't know. It's just a very comfortable relationship, I think.
Embedded, he has a very loving and supportive mother. You know.
Yeah, his family seems to be cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, he's a, like, you're right. He's someone who's like, that's somebody completely like on their own, you know.
Yeah, he's in his own league, man. He's just
his own league. That's the phrase I'm looking for.
Yeah, he's different. But a really talented and entertaining guy too, man. Nobody does a buoy like that.
Yeah, whenever he would come in with his keyboard, it's like, man, he was so good at that, and just his voices and the singing was awesome. And he's like, yeah, he really is like much more talented than he does. Well, what he's putting it towards, it's like he's just making, he's just talking like Gary or Artie, and it's just like, man, I don't know. I really feel like he could be, big in his own right with his music and his singing. So it really is like too bad.
His mom's really supportive, and and so it's like, I don't know. I don't feel sorry for him in that way, because he doesn't feel. I don't know. To me, he doesn't lack dignity or anything.
No. No, he's a weird dude, but I wouldn't say he's undignified at all. You're right.
Yeah.
But go on.
No, I mean, I just mean that he's somebody who's like a fixture on the show, who is, like you said, is very comfortable doing what he does, and he's good at it,
Mm-hmm. And doesn't want anything out of it either. Like, wants no extra fame or attention. I mean, he likes the attention, sure, but he's not out there trying to get things out of it. It doesn't seem like he's not trying to pop off and blow up on the internet. He's not trying to have some kind of career, because the guy could legitimately do voice acting or something, and it doesn't even seem like he's desirous of that.
Or, I mean, I'm sure he would be huge on Cameo. Like, call my friend Happy Birthday in Gary's voice.
Oh my,
or Artie.
Dude, or Artie.
Or just anything like that. Yeah.
He doesn't do that. He's not on there,
Yeah. Just, obviously that's not what he wants, and that's not what his goals are. And, it's kind of like you tip your hat to that, because he could be very well exploiting that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he doesn't.
He's one of the most talented people, maybe the most talented person in the whole Wack Packer, in the whole, vicinity of it. And the guy's just, I mean, it's sad to watch him squander it, and I feel like I can relate to that a little bit, like squandering talents. But the guy's like amazing. He's a savant. Like, Jesus Christ, he's and yet he's comfortable living with his parents, and just be doing what he does. It's just wow, dude. I find the guy so anomalous and weird, because he seems to want absolutely nothing in life except to do what he does, and he's happy. It's really cool.
Doing what he does.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, more so than someone say like Dan the Song Parody Man, who does songs and stuff, but doesn't seem very content, or he's kind of a fuck up, or was. Is he still alive even? I don't even know.
Gary. I say, Sour, I want you to go to jail over this.
Oh God!
Wasn't that it wasn't even Sour at that point, wasn't it? Like
it wasn't. It
wasn't like Sal and Richard or someone calling.
Sal and Richard recorded it. They had hours and hours of him recording, and they would just play it. That's why he would be so non-responsive, and Lieberman would just go ape shit over
Lose his mind.
Yeah, it's great, dude. I love
Sour.
that. Wow.
I want you to go to jail. Did he still do? I don't know. Whenever he does that, when Sour would call, and Howard just be like, Sour, again, that tone.
Yeah.
Classic, guys. I love it.
Yep.
So good.
Amazing.
Oh God. Oof. I think that's a show, guys.
I was gonna say, I think that's it, because I think we've covered everybody. We even hit on Sour and fucking Dan the Song.
That was a good topic, though, Tony. Good job.
Thank you, and thank you guys. You great supporting cast. Love to have you guys here every week or every whenever the hell we do this
Whenever
show.
we do this.
But yeah, thank you guys again for being with me, and thank you in the audience if there's anybody out there for watching. We hope to see you again here soon at Book of Stern. Tell your friends about us. If you're a Stern fan, tell everybody about us. And don't forget to check us out at Book of Stern, AHTJC.com. Email us with any of your suggestions. I'm Tony. There's Natasha and Paul. And
Hello.
Baba Booey to y'all.
Bye.
Say goodnight, y'all.
Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Aw, rest in peace.